Hello everybody, Mahdi Vahedian is here. Welcome back, and I hope everyone is well and you already take care of yourselves. So I'm sorry that I've been late again about this video because I was super busy. I have lots of studies, and this situation and these times are really hard times for every one of us. Today I'm gonna not today, it's 1:47 of AM. I'm gonna have that Saturday class that we supposed to have, but right now due to the situation we cannot. I gonna have that one. I am going to record a video. So let's begin. First I'm gonna start with array and list. There is two things that I'm gonna say, array and list. So let's open my iPad here. Okay, how to explain an array and list? I'm gonna explain it very fast. Imagine an array, the integer, okay, as one person. Okay, this is one person, and this is an, for example, integer a. Okay, and there is like a bicycle, like this person is on a bicycle and going. Okay, so this is an integer a. Now imagine like a bus that it have like many seats in it, and there is lots of these people, lots of these a's in it. So this is, for example, an array of the a. As I explained in previous semester, okay, and actually I said it in the last session, a string is array of the character. Okay, if I'm saying string s is equals to, for example, hello, is actually an array of a character. It's gonna be s0, gonna be h, s1 gonna be e. Okay, because it's indexing from 0, 1 to stuff. So how it's gonna be stored is gonna be like, this is it. This is imagine this is an array, but this is a normal integer. This is a normal integer. Okay, this is, for example, int a, but this is int a. Okay, so let's just dig a bit more. How to define it? For defining it, it's like this. I'm putting for example, the kind of it, because the array can be integer, can be string, can be character, can be anything. So I'm putting int with curly not curly, sorry, like just brackets, and the name of this, for example, let's say numbers, and then I'm putting equals to new int and open bracket, so an open and close bracket. But here, if I'm leaving it like this, it's gonna be an error, because in array we should always say how many characters, how many slots, how many elements that we're gonna have. Either I'm gonna put a number here, for example 5, which is gonna be an array of the numbers, will be an array of 5 numbers, or I will make a curly bracket and put the numbers that I want to put inside of it. For example, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, for example. So now the application, that C# will understand that we're going to have an array which gonna have 5 numbers in. So if I refer in my program, if I write in my program somewhere that, for example, write something like, for example, not write because we're not working with console. So for example, text box 1 dot text is equals to, for example, numbers 0 dot to string. In the text box it will be this number, gonna be this one, because it's gonna start from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the array this is how I made an array of numbers which it has 5 numbers in. Okay, also I can make it as a way that I told you, just making it duplicate. This is another method that I put in, for example, 5 inside of this. This means I'm gonna have an array which have 5 elements. So guys, arrays cannot be changed. Okay, arrays cannot I mean the length of them cannot be changed. If I make a numbers which is 5 elements in it, I can there is like 5, so this number gonna have 5 numbers in here, or if it would be a string, 5 string in it. I cannot change that. I cannot make another array. Okay, like for example, making numbers, for example, 5 itself, it's gonna make an error. This gonna make an error because when we make an array of 5 elements, it's gonna start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's gonna be 5 elements which is starting from 0 to actually 4. The 5 will not be included. The 5 itself will not be included, so be careful. It's always starting from 0. So this is about the arrays. Okay, it's very simple. So there is another thing next to the arrays, we're calling it list. As I told you, in array we cannot change the number, the length of the array. Okay, but in list we can. List is actually vector in C++. Okay, but it's a bit different. It became more English. So defining a list is like this. I'm putting a list, and in open this character, whatever the name of this is, which I don't know, I putting the kind of the variable that I want. For example, here I'm putting integer. Okay, and then I put the name. The name, for example, here is num. Okay, and I putting equals to new list int and open close parentheses. So this is the structure of making a list, and here I just define it. I just set the application. Okay, I have a list. I don't have any number. I don't know how many items, how many elements it will be in it. It's just a list. So if I want to add an element to this list, it will be num dot add, and here I putting that number that I want to put in. For example, I don't know, here I want to put 250, for example. So after this, num 0 will be 250. Okay, so this is how it works. Every rules about this is exactly like arrays, but the difference is here is flexible. Also, I can make the list in a different ways. Also, like for example, here I have this. I can say that how many I want. Define it how many numbers that I want. I can say, for example, I need 5 numbers. So the application will know that there is a list named num which have 5 elements, but they didn't initialize, so actually we cannot use it. Because of that, we cannot use it actually, and this way is kind of dumb. We are not using that because we can always using add, so we are not using this. Also, there is something else, because I want to tell you all of these things. I will duplicate it again for saving time. Also, I can define it like this. I can define a list and then not putting anything here. Here is just nothing. It's just nothing. So, and make a curly bracket and just putting my values. For example, I don't know. Now my list num has 1, 2, 3, 4 elements. This is how, and I can make it more even. There will be no problem. I can say, for example, num dot add, I don't know, another number, 188. So I'm actually adding another, what the, this is 8. It's supposed to be 8 actually. Okay, so this is it. So let's move to the coding. Let me open, okay, it's ready here. So this application, we're gonna actually work with this a lot. I'm gonna make some with classes about this we're gonna work, but right now let's use it for a different purpose. Now let's just define an array which I want to fill it to 100 numbers and I want to print it, for example. Okay, so an array is this int, for example, num a, for example, numma equals to new int, I said 100, right? 100. And for this I'm using a loop for int less than I less than 100. So I'm saying numma I is equals to, for example, I. Okay, and then I explain this very fast because we're gonna use this a lot with arrays and lists and everything. We are using this kind of method and loop every time. I'm gonna say it very fast, but for now let's just move on. Oh, sorry, I meant for each. For each integer, which we're gonna call it, for example, a, inside of our collection, which is, for example, numma list box, list box 1 dot items dot add, and this add should be big, dot add a, and that's it. Yes. So if I run it, if I put, for example, this button, yes, I'm gonna have up to 99 because here is I, so I is 0 at first. So first, if I want to make it correct, I have to do this. So I would have 100 elements from 1 to 100 with just like a line like this. So imagine if I wanted to make it without an array. I should have, say, for example, int a1 equals to 0. Again, int a2 equals to 1. And then int a3 equals to 3. And so on, so on, so on. So it's ridiculous. Maybe I would have 1,000 of characters, 1,000 of numbers, or 1,000 of strings, or whatever, or even millions. So I cannot write each line for this. With this, I can actually make it very easy. But this cannot be changed. Now let's go for a list. I'm gonna comment this line because I'm not gonna use it. Oh, let me show you something else also. Let's say we have an integer n equals to textbox1 dot text, but for sure I have to convert it to int. Convert that to int 32. Okay. I can also do it like this. What I did here, I putting the number here, how many numbers that I want. Right now I'm putting 50, for example, and I'm putting add. Right now I have up to 50. Now let's say, because I didn't add clear, so I run it again. So now I want, for example, 1,000, and I put in add, and right now I have 1,000 elements, as you can see here. Okay, I can also doing this. There is no problem for that. So I'm just gonna clear this int, let's say, and this, and also no, let's have this because we cannot use it. So now let's do it with the list. For the list, I'm putting list int, and the list should be with big L. List int, again I'm putting numbers, this time L. Numbers L, it means list. So new, but I should do that. And let's say I don't need this one also right now. And here I put in num L. So I can say num L dot add, and I can put the number that I want. If I play it and wait, I put n here. Yeah, so how many numbers? 100 numbers. If I put add, again, same thing. But the problem is I put I. If I put I plus 1, it's gonna work probably. Work correctly, I mean. So right now 100 add, and yes, I have 100 numbers. So this is how it works. This is all about this array, and let me explain that code, that other part that I told you that I'm gonna explain. Here, this. Let's say here I have, I don't know, 100 as I wrote them. Okay. Look, I have a 4, okay, which inside of it there is a int I equals to 0, and then I less than 100, and then I plus plus, and then there is open close. So I have a variable as we saw here, this array, nama, what the unique name I choose. So that numa is like we define it, and it needs 100 numbers, array of 100 numbers. Here I say numa I equals to I plus 1. So what's gonna happen? It's gonna happen exactly like this. First, I is 0, right? So when I is 0, so here is 0 also, here is 0 also. So it's gonna be, this actually is I plus 1, because I plus plus is gonna ruin everything. Let's making it plus 1, I plus 1. So what's gonna happen? This is, here is 0, here is 0 also. So numa 0 will be what? Will be 1. Then it comes up, I will become 1. So I will be 1. And then numa 1 will be 1 plus, here is also plus 1, right? This, because of this. 1 plus 1. So it's 2. So it became 2. And so on. This is how it's happening. So please don't get kind of, confused, because we're using it a lot. And one last thing that is very important about the list that I wanted to tell you. When I'm saying let's delete the other codes to not make any confusion. This is our limit. Okay. This num_l is actually, this dot add here is actually a method that we have in a class of list, okay, that it's void because it's not returning anything. It's not like, for example, that string functions that I explained, like for example string, for example our string, if our string will be str, for example str.remove something, so it can just return as we talk about. But this one is not returning anything, it's just void, it's just working on something. It will do something and it will not return anything. Okay, so now let's move on to the next subject that is the most important, and everything that we learned until now is about this subject, the classes. So what is the class? The class is a blueprint of an object. So far we understood that so you know, we have a like very small and foggy definition of the class and everything here, but I will make it more bright for you like in a few moments. If you're seeing it here, as you can see this line, okay, form 1 is a class. And this dot, it has a meaning that you will learn it in this week, I mean like tomorrow with Mr. Edip probably, that what is this, and you will learn more about this, but you can see that this is a class. Even if I go to this place, as you can see, oh, let's just come back there for a second. Here you see this method that it says public form1, and it's just one void method in it. It's like initialize component. It's here. If I open this initialize component, as you can see, this is a private void here. There's a private method here that makes all of these text boxes and everything, as you can see. The bottom one, text box 1, text box 2, 3, 4, like label 1, and everything that you can see here. These are the controls that you can actually edit by code. It calls dynamically. You can make dynamically any controls in this form here by using this kind of codes. We're gonna do that in future. Anyways, all of them are objects. Okay, this is a big class here, as you can see, partial class form 1, as you can see, and this is a whole class that contains all of these instructions. So in another word, the class is actually a big part of a program. It's actually a program that contains our instructions. And so far we were actually using it here. Here. Every time we were writing in a class. So now I want to define a new class here. Okay. As you can see my program, this is a program that, for example, holding some data about a book. Okay, this one is gonna hold the this application, or this application will actually take the information of a book, like several books, whatever that we want, and we just keep adding, but it's not gonna add to the list box. It's gonna add to our database, and then when we put show, it's gonna show everything in this list box. It's pretty simple thing. Right now we are not using actual database for this, so for database maybe we would have time for that in future, that I will teach you how to connect the database to your program. Anyway, so for making a class, it's I can do it in here, like just coming out from everything, like after this namespace, come to here, and for example I'm saying class, for example, I don't know, book, and just open. So this is how I actually made a class here. But it's better to make the class in different file, okay, like that another file that we can see in projects, add class. Here we have this list we use in class, and here we put in the name. So about here I'm putting a class name books, and I'm putting add. Now I have a class name books, as you can see. So in classes also we can add functions, we can add methods, we can add variables and everything as usual that we were doing it in previous class, that we are doing it here. So let's just program this fast. So I want to take these names, this name, and this is a page, this is the year. Take all of them and add it. So first I should tell you how to make an object from a class. So look, I have a class name book. Okay, this is a class name book. Now I want to, for example, make a book. For that, I just doing it like this. You remember how we making how we were making arrays, right? So same way, but instead of for putting for example int or string, we are putting book, because it's look like this. As previous semester I said that also, it's look like you're just making a new variable, okay, new kind of the variable, for example like struct, because class is actually like struct. They are very similar. The only difference is the class has more access modifiers, but the struct doesn't have it. We will understand what is access modifier in future. And the thing is, struct was for C language, and in C language we don't have object-oriented programming. In C we don't have classes, okay, we have struct, and class is after C, it became C++ and other frameworks. So I'm saying, for example, book and the name, for example book B1, let's say book B1 equals to new book. That's it. That's how I make a new object from my class. First of all, let's just program here. So first I need a name, okay, so I'm putting string name, string, what was there, author, and I have an int pages, and I have an int year. You know that I can actually doing it like this. I can do it like this, as you can see. Okay, I have it, as you can see. Now let's just make an object from that. First of all, let's just clear this code. This code was for array and lists, so I'm clearing it. So now I'm saying, for each time that I'm clicking this button, it should create a new let's say a new one, you know, a new object. Okay, so for that I'm saying book b1, the name for example, equals to new books, and open close parenthesis. Now if I say b1 dot, okay, I cannot see these variables that I have here, okay, and that's the problem. Here I should put public. This is access modifier, okay. I'm saying the application that these are public, they should be available in all of the program. See, let me give you one very important tip. Maybe you didn't notice yet, but it's very important. As you can see, all of this, let me just delete this. Okay, as you can see, all of these methods that we use, like this click, okay, they are private void. Okay, they're void because they're not returning anything. This is obvious, and these are private. So for example, when I'm using here b1, okay, I cannot use b1 here. Okay, you see, it's just I cannot find it. If I say b1, like, it's gonna give me an error because it's private. How it became private? It's here. For example, I clicking this add button. In these options here, there is a part. If I find it, yes, here, modifiers. As you can see here, I can make it public, protected, and in here I can change the way that it treats. Because if I make this public, okay, I can access to this, but it should not, because it's gonna break all of the structure of the program. Okay, this is one thing that I wanted to say. The another thing here is there is a way to make a variable to be read in all over the program. Okay, let's say I'm making here int a. I'm closing it. As you can see in here, like this is not under any of these private methods or this public form structure constructor. There is just like free space. I'm just putting it here. So after, but it should be inside of the class. So when I'm putting this, that a, here I can use the a. For example, int b is equals to a, but it will have an error because it's not initialized. So if I put 10, for example, a number, as you can see, there is no error. Okay, here also I can say, I don't know, int c equals to a. See, it can be used in all of the program because it's here. But this calls global or public. This here became public. Why? Because at the up level, the upper level, because you know this is the upper level. As you can see here became an upper level. The upper level access modifier is public, so this will be automatically public. So it can be used in all of this class. Same thing about the functions, the methods. When we're defining a method, okay, we can use that method only inside of our class. So here also, that's why I'm saying I'm making it public, okay, because class itself is private. So I'm making here the public version of it. So when I'm making it public, now I can access it. If I put here b1 dot, I will have author, name, page, and year, as you can see. So let's put author.name is equals to textbox1 dot b1.name, I mean, sorry, and b1 dot author equals to textbox2 dot text, and b1 dot page is equals to convert that to int32 textbox3 dot text, and b1 dot year is equals to convert that to int to int32 yes textbox4 dot text. So now I just made my class, okay, I made my object, and here I actually defined it. This is complete. But let's add a function, a method to this to this class to return all of these names and stuff with a nice format. Okay, so let's say it like this. I'm making a method named public string, because I want to return a string, public string, for example print, and it doesn't need any input. It doesn't need any input. Okay, so now I'm saying return what? Name plus name plus, and then it will be author plus, and then it will be pages and then it should be year plus year dot to string. That place also should be pages plus pages dot to string. So okay, I made that. Now let's say I'm gonna add it to the list. For now I'm just gonna add it to a list and then make that other thing that I said at the beginning, that program. So here I'm gonna ask to add it. So list box 1 dot items dot add b1 dot print. Let's try it out. For example, I have a book, Harry Potter, and the author is J.K. Rowling, and the pages is, I don't know, like 1000 pages or 400 pages, for example, because I don't remember how many pages it was, and the year, for example, 2009. As you can see, it added name Harry Potter, author, oh, it doesn't have the author name, pages 400, year to 2009. So why it doesn't have the author name? So probably we made a mistake somewhere. So this is, anyways, this is the function that I actually made. Author, here, that's why in returning I didn't add the author plus. Here I should have added this. Okay, so it taking this author is this author, as you can see, look, it's this author. So this is how I made the class, and I made a function in it. So there is one important thing about these classes, okay, which it calls constructor. So if you look very close, you can see that, okay, here I'm actually making this open and close parentheses, okay, when I made this book, okay. The thing that I did actually, I use a constructor, okay. I'm gonna tell you what is exactly constructor, but by default in a program will understand that there is always an empty constructor, okay, but in many other languages you should always making it. Okay, so what is that? Constructor is actually a part of the there is an empty function, empty method. Actually, there is an empty method with no code, okay, in the class. Why is that? Because we want to make the object based on something, okay. Object cannot be made out of nothing, it should be based on something. So it will be a constructor with no input and no output, just nothing. How to make that? It should be like this: public, okay, book, actually books, open close parentheses, and open close curly bracket, and that's it. That's it. This line is already defined in backbone of the application. It always knows when the class is, this is always defined already. So why this is important? Because we're gonna use something that you already know about methods, okay, which called method overloading. Here we're gonna use constructor overloading, okay. Look at here, public, yeah, let's just do it. Books, string name, string author, string int pages, int year, and there is, for example, some code here. Okay, here is, yeah, this. Now let's save it. Look at here right now. I have these books that I made. Let's say, for example, I want to make another book. Okay, book books b2 equals to new books, and when I open this, as you can see here, this is one of two. So if I put it one arrow down, I can see there is a constructor that it's accepting name, author, page, and year. So it means instead of doing this thing that you can see here, I put it like everything like this, I can making it just with one line and put every single data in one line. So how to do it is very simple. Here I have it, right? String name, string author, string page, string year. So the only thing that I should do in this function, that I should say, still look, these two, name, author, page, and year are outside of this method. Okay, so I should say the application that take this name, take this author, page, and year that the user inputs, and put them inside of these variables that I have. But there is a problem right now. Name, author, page, as you can see, every name are the same. So I'm using something called this. When I'm saying this, okay, this dot, by this I mean this whole class. Do you remember for exiting an application what we were putting? We were, for example, this button will close the application. Let me just delete this line. As you remember, I said this dot close, right? See, and it was always an error. I should have just make open and close parentheses. So this is a function, okay? This is a method inside of this class. And what is this class? You see, this is light up, form 1. What is inside of the form 1? Initialize components that we actually look together at the beginning. I showed you. So this dot close is actually using a method inside of this class. So that's why we are using this, I mean this class, because we're using this. So same thing here, we're using this dot. This dot name equals to name. This dot page equals to page. This dot year equals to year. This dot, what else it was? Author equals to author. So when I click on this name gonna light up, but if I click on this name gonna be highlighted, because the application understands this means this. It's kind of hard to say it. Anyways, so this is it, as you can see. Okay, so now we know how to do it. So instead of this nonsense that I have here, I'm actually gonna make it like this. We're using this a lot, guys. Textbox 1, see, it automatically jumped to that other constructor. So textbox2.text, I'm putting it here, and I'm putting this convert blah 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 here. But I can also do it something else. Okay, like yes, I'm here converting anything, but why here I'm converting anything? I'm gonna actually just pass the textbox tree, and I will tell you how to fix that. And textbox 4, and I'm deleting everything. As you can see here, I have an error because it says like, hey, we have int, but the text box is string. What the hell? Okay, don't panic. Here, we have a int page and year and stuff here, right? So we're making them string here. Actually, we don't need to making it the int. I made that int for making it a bit difficult, like more difficult, but sometimes because we really need integer, we don't need string. But in this case we really don't need a string, but let's say we have int and we should make it fine. So here I'm using convert. So Now I have it, as you can see. I converted it. Now let's say maybe the user wants to input an integer. Maybe the user wants to input an integer. Who knows? So here I'm putting, okay, I don't, oh yeah, actually I need to delete this. So the user will actually, instead of putting the string as text box, let's say somehow from some other program, you actually giving this file to another program and they're gonna use an integer as input. So I'm just making it int. See? I have everything here. So if, for example, I make another one, let's say books b2 equals to new books, and I putting the name, for example, the name is, I don't know, a book name, for example, Hobbits, and then, for example, the other, like whatever, let's just be fast, because now I have, you see, I have three options. I can make two ints as page or make string, as you can see. See, I have three. So here I wanna put integers, okay, number of pages, for example, 500, and a year, for example, 1992. I made this object right now, there is no problem. See? Oh. Here I'm just putting 2 and okay. So let's say we're going there. So I'm putting a book like this, and this is a page, and this is the year, and I'm adding, so, and then the Hobbits, other, like blah blah blah, everything, as you can see. This is called constructor overloading. Okay, the example of it, I did it for you right now to understand what is it with example. Also, you can see the live example of it, message box. See, for example, we have a message box that show, and then we have how many constructors that we have here? 21, as you can see, 21 different constructors, as you can see, is inside of this message box class, as you can see. See, there is a lots of different options, okay, that I can use. I can just use this. This is gonna work. Just, you see, this has only one input, string text. I can use this this constructor, which is the first one, text, caption, buttons, icon. I can use Win32 window owner, string text, caption, and like different formats. As you can see, there is a lots of different formats, so I can do whatever I want. This is everything about constructors. I hope you understood everything here, and for now this is enough for the class, because we're gonna work a lot more with the classes. Right now we know that, okay, I made a public string, and here I made a function for just printing, but in future we're gonna learn a lot more about this, okay? And in homeworks that I'm gonna give you, so you're gonna actually work more, and Mr. Edith will help you also. So now let's do something. I want, as I said, add my books here, put add, and then add, and then add, and then when I put show, everything gonna be shown, right? So how can I do that? These are two different methods, right? Yes, there are two different methods. I need a bridge between them. How can I use that bridge? Simple. I need a variable that is general and be accessible from everywhere. And I need a variable to just be infinity and just store all of my books in it. So as we know and discussed in this video previously, we have something named list. So we can use list. Can we? Yes, we can, because right now books is another variable. another kind of variable like int, string, boolean, double, anything. Okay, books is another variable for us, so I can make a list for that. Look, list books, that's it. Let's put the name of it, list of the books equals to new list books, open close, that's it. Now this is accessible from everywhere. I can add it here. Okay, instead of add it to somewhere, I can actually use it here. Lists box, not list box, sorry, lists of, see, it comes here, dot add, what to add, b1, and that's it. It's gonna add it to the list box here, this list box that we have here. And for showing them later here, I need an for each. It's not for, actually, it's gonna be better to use for each. For here we should use for each. For each, look, focus, really, as Mr. Deep says, are you with me? Be with me, please. So for each books is kind of English, as you can see. For each books, books B, for example, we should put a name for that, B. For each books B, in list of books, what to do? Very simple, just list box 1, list box 1 dot items dot add. So for adding I need a string, right? Or like I can add an object, as you can see here, but don't focus on that right now. I just need to add it, so I'm using that string function, like that string output that we have in the class. So I'm saying b dot what was that, print, yes. And for example, I want a message box also, message box mbox telling me there is, now I want to know, for example, how many books there are in there, right? List box, list of, sorry, list of the, yeah, list of the books dot count. This is the function for saying how many is it, okay, like how many elements is it, to string. Okay, there is that many, and I'm making here books in, okay, I have to zoom out a bit, it's too big right now. Books in, for example, in database, and I'm closing the string here. And I put in, for example, the caption information. So now let's see what's gonna happen. I'm gonna run, so let's put the name, the book A, for example, and the author is, I don't know, like something. Don't be picky, guys, I just like putting random numbers, okay, add. So there is nothing happened, and I made a mistake when I put in add, these text boxes should be deleted. The user should not delete by hand all the time. And there is a book B, the author is like something, and the pages are like this much, and the year is like 2001, add. Okay, so now I want to show. See, there is 2 books in database, yes, because we put 2 books only. And when I put in OK, it will be added to here. The same things that we put it. Seriously, they're the same data, okay, that I put it. So it's correct. This is very simple program, okay, for object-oriented programming. This is actually the first time that I learned object-oriented programming was before the EDIP classes, Mr. EDIP classes. It was really hard for me to understand, actually. Very hard for me to understand. I hope on that time someone would give me some example like this to make me understand much easier. Because this example, as I tried to make something very simple and practical to understand it very better. If you didn't understand, I'm sorry. Please text me. I will actually make it, again, an exclusive video for anyone who has still problem for object-oriented programming or for any classes. There is no problem. Okay, now let's move to the next subject because we are close to finish. Actually, we are finishing. Just the one last thing that I want to teach you. This is not a coding part. Actually, it can be a coding part, but I just gonna repeat it very fast. Okay, Mr. Edip actually said it already, and he said it great. But I gonna again repeat it, but in a little bit different approach. So, guys, the memory. Okay, you're struggling with this thing right now with operation system also. With operation system subject. So the memory is for us. Just let's not go to like deep, very deep like information and details about the whole memory cells, how they're working and how they're like. Okay, let's not go there for now. Okay, that's different subject. For now, I'm just telling you what. We have something named stack and we have something named heap. Okay, I'm gonna close this bad boys, divide these bad boys. They're very important. Okay, you should understand the definition of this, because in future when you became a very like professional programmer, okay, you need to know this definition because you can play with them. Okay, you can make your application faster and like you can actually manipulate many stuff, and this is very cool that I'm gonna tell you right now. So guys, this is two areas. Okay, there is a stack and there is a heap. When we making a variable, like for example, let's say in code part, we saying int num1 equals to, for example, 20. Okay, we making this variable in here. Okay, this one will be int num, for example, number 1 equals to 20. Okay, so if I make another variable, another integer, okay, it will be int, for example, num2 equals to 10. For example, here I am changing this to num2, and this is 10 and this is okay. These variables are going here, as you can see. So but when I'm making an object, the object will become in heap. In heap it will be our b1. Okay, so this is actually what is happening. But in here, oh god, here it will be something like this, and it will point to this b1, this object that we have here. Okay, so let's say, as Mr. Edip shows you, he did show you about this, like about the floor and area and stuff. If I make another book and I say B2, for example, if I say in my program B2 is equals to B1, okay, what's gonna happen? This B2 will actually be equal to this, right? So this gonna point to this also, to the same object. Let's try it out by, for example, I will delete this code. Let's comment it. Okay, never delete the code. Let's say I have books B1 equals to new books, and I'm putting, for example, A, B, for example, 1, 2. Okay, so these are, oh, I forgot to put it. So, okay, and right now I have another book, books B2 equals to new books, and here I'm putting, for example, A2 as a name of the book, for example, B2 as another author name, for example, and 10 and 20. Now let's show them, right? Let's just message box them. Mbox. Instead of test, I'm saying b1.print. And same thing, but here I'm putting B2. So now if I start a program, if I put add, so name A, author B, page 1, year 2, A2, B2, 10, 20, everything is fine, right? But if at the further I put B2 equals to B1, and then I ask to show the B2 again. By the way, I use Control D for that. If I put Control D, as you can see, duplicate the line. So, okay. Now look what I did here. I make an object, I make another object, I put data in it, okay, and then I show the B1 first, and then I show the B2, and then let's just add this also, like to be more visible. B1 is, I'm making it like this to making it more visible. B2 is, okay. Now let's just now duplicating it. I cut this, put it here. So I said B1 is, so show me the B1, B2 is, and then I just say B2 equal to B1. I made them equal, and then I ask them to show me the B2 again. Let's see what's gonna happen. If I put this, so B1 is A, B, 1, 2, okay. B2 is A2, B2, 10, 20. But B2 again is A, B, 1, 2. That's the same thing that happened here. In B1, let me remove these lines. Okay, we had, I'm making it here. Let's remove it, this, and open the window. Okay. So when I'm making this, I put here B2, right? So inside of them, the name here was A, the author was B, and pages is 1, and a year is 2, right? But in B2, if I can duplicate this to not writing it again, duplicate, yes, this is good about technology. See, you can actually manipulating everything, but it needs some talent of this, which I don't have. Anyways, so in second one is A2, B2, pages is 10, and also here year is 20, right? So basically right now it's like this. Okay, it's like this right now. Before I'm making this line, before we reaching to this line, before this, let me zoom in. Are you with me? Before this. So, oh, sorry for that. Go down. Okay, nothing happened. So where is this? Okay, so it's like this. This is B1, this is B2, as you can see. But don't confuse this. These should be small b actually. B1 and B2. So they are pointing, and how they are pointing, there is something in memory. Okay, how the memories are actually divided. They are divided by addresses. Okay, as Mr. Edip said, this is a big address. Okay, I will show you if I would have enough time for that. So for example, if this address is, for example, A, B, C, like I don't know, 100, and this is like A, B, C, 200. Okay, so these are the addresses. Okay, that is different. And sorry, it has some delay right now. I don't know what is happening. It has some delay with the display. Sorry for that. But it fixed right now. I don't know what's going on. So in stack we're gonna have only this ABC 200, and here we have ABC 100. Okay, it will be just have the address, saving the address in the stack, so it will point to the correct object. But when I actually said B1 here, sorry, B2 is equals to B1, okay, what I did, I removed this completely and I made a new connection and started pointing to this. So the address here, this one, I said B2 equals to B1, right? Yeah. So this address here, instead of 200, will be 100. If I assume that there is 100, if we assume these are like correct addresses, okay? So it's gonna point to that. This means this have actually another whole new definition about it that we're gonna talk about it in future, about call by reference or call by value. Okay, those are like a similar things that we're gonna talk in future. So the last thing is about stack and heap. It was this. I hope you understood what is it exactly. Okay, but you should know about something about stack, guys. Stack is faster. Okay, why this is very important to know? Because you should manage. You are the boss when you're programming. Okay, you can manage, you can manipulate everything. So don't, for example, you think like making an application is just like, okay, we're just making tons of variables and everything gonna be fine. No, when you're dealing with the big classes and many variables in the classes and many things, they're gonna be confusing, and you will need to manage your memory. Okay, you will need to actually go through the heap and start managing, delete and garbage, and there is a function in garbage collecting, okay, to actually remove the things that are not necessary. So this is very important. First, stack is faster. Okay, stack is very faster. Okay, in comparison to heap, and it's automatic. Okay, it's very automatic. Imagine like there is like, for example, a very good room and everything is in order and there is everything very clean, and there is next to each other there is a stack of books on top of each other. This is stack, and heap is actually my room. It's exploded. Everything's everywhere, like it's just messy. So this is between stack and heap. So that's why heap is slower. but heap is bigger and it's larger, it has more space, and it can store many other stuff, but stack cannot. And in heap, you can manage your memory. You can delete, you can allocate, you can delocate, and we have functions for that: malloc, alloc, deloc. I know it's funny, the names, but there is. You can do all of them in heap. In stack, you cannot. Stack is automatic, completely. So, okay, that was it. I just wanted you to know about this and about the class, that a class is actually working in heap. The object will work in heap, so be careful. So I hope you understood about this. Sorry if it became long. I'm gonna share it as fast as possible. Sorry that I made the videos very late. Again, I have to apologize because I am incredibly busy in these days. We have many projects to do and there is many things to do and many studies, so I'm sorry that I've been late, but I personally ready here for any students, anyone who has any question. I'm responsible for that. I know myself as a responsible person, so you can actually contact me for any question. I will help you with. I will just not help you with the things that maybe Mr. Edip tell me, like for example there is a homework, don't help them, so I will not, but anything that I can help you, I will be in. So for now I have to say goodbye and please take care, be careful. Hope to see you all in the university, and goodbye fellow programmers.